Welcome to the iRogya Wellness Podcast, your quick guide to a healthier life. In each episode, we'll explore practical tips and insights to help you on your journey to optimal health and well-being. Let's dive in.
Okay, so today we're diving into something that, you might be sipping on pretty soon, and that's Tahitian Noni Juice.
Ooh!
But we're going way beyond the buzzwords today. So you shared with me a guide about all of its supposed health benefits. And let's be honest, sometimes these superfood claims can feel a bit overblown. So we're going to unpack the real deal about this intriguing fruit, get into the science a little bit, and just see if it lives up to the hype.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I think that's a good idea. What I find really fascinating about noni is that it's not just some trendy juice craze, I mean, its use in traditional Polynesian medicine dates back over 2,000 years. That kind of history, it definitely makes you wonder what they were onto back then.
Yeah, what were they onto? Before we go down that road, could you paint me a picture of what noni even is? I mean, it's not exactly a fruit that you see every day at the grocery store, right?
Right. You're right about that. So imagine a small, bumpy green fruit. Not the prettiest, but it grows on this tree called the Morinda citrifolia tree, and it's mainly found in Southeast Asia and Australasia. And the harvesting process is actually surprisingly hands-on. Instead of large-scale machinery, farmers either collect the ripe fruit by hand or they use a special comb. It's labor-intensive, but it ensures they're getting the best quality noni.
It sounds like quality is definitely a priority, right from the very beginning. But let's get to the heart of it, the superfood label. So the guide mentions a ton of nutrients. Is that where this whole thing stems from?
Yeah, it definitely plays a part. Noni is packed with vitamins and minerals, like vitamin C, potassium, calcium, iron, magnesium, you name it. But there's more to it than just the usual suspects. It also contains antioxidants like beta-carotene, flavonoids, and these unique polysaccharides.
Yeah.
Which are complex carbohydrates that are believed to boost the immune system.
Okay, wait. Polysaccharides. Okay, that's a new one for me. So these carbohydrates are more than just fuel for our bodies. They actually help our immune systems.
Exactly. Think of them as signaling molecules that help activate your immune cells, making them more efficient at fighting off invaders.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so it's not just empty hype. There's actual nutritional substance behind it.
Yeah.
But the guide goes even a step further and lists all of these health benefits. What are the main ones that stand out to you?
Well, the guide highlights 4 key areas where noni really shines. So we've touched upon the immune system boost. But it also has powerful anti-inflammatory properties. It potentially aids digestion, and there's even evidence suggesting it can improve skin health.
Wow, now those are some bold claims. Let's break those down one by one. First up, inflammation. I know that chronic inflammation is linked to a ton of different diseases, but what is it about noni that actually helps combat that?
So noni contains these compounds called iridoids, and these little guys are the secret weapons against inflammation. They work by blocking specific pathways in the body that trigger inflammation. Imagine them as tiny firefighters putting out those inflammatory fires before they get out of control.
So rather than just masking the symptoms, noni's actually working at a deeper level to address the root of the problem. That's a pretty impressive mechanism. What about its impact on digestion? How does that tie into the picture?
Well, remember those iridoids. They're multitaskers. The same anti-inflammatory action that benefits your overall health also works wonders in the gut. It can help soothe the digestive tract, potentially easing discomfort and promoting regularity.
So it's double whammy, fighting inflammation throughout the body, and then also specifically targeting the gut. That's interesting. Now, tell me more about this skin savior aspect. Does it have something to do with those antioxidants that we talked about earlier?
You got it. The high vitamin C content in noni is a major player here. It's essential for collagen production, which keeps our skin firm and elastic. And those antioxidants come into play by protecting our skin from environmental damage caused by pollution and UV radiation.
So it's a two-pronged approach to skin health, building it up from the inside with collagen and then shielding it from the outside with antioxidants. That makes a lot of sense. But before I get too carried away and start imagining flawless skin, I have a practical question. If I were to try this noni juice, how much should I actually be drinking?
That's an important point. Even with natural products, moderation is key. The guide recommends sticking to 1 fluid ounce or 30 mLs per day. Going overboard can actually have adverse effects, so it's best to follow the suggested dosage.
Got it. Stick to the recommended amount. I'm all for reaping the benefits, but I definitely don't want to overdo it. But let's be honest. The taste of noni juice It's not exactly known for being like pleasant. Any suggestions for making it a bit more palatable?
Absolutely. The guide suggests a few options. If you're feeling adventurous, you can drink it straight. But for those who prefer a less intense experience, mixing it with other juices like orange or apple can help mask the bitterness. You can also add it to smoothies for a sneaky nutritional boost without compromising on taste.
Smoothies. That's a great idea. Now I'm picturing a tropical smoothie with noni juice, pineapple, and maybe a little bit of coconut milk. Sounds delicious and healthy.
There you go. You're already getting creative with it. It's all about finding what works for you.
Yeah.
But before we wrap up this part of our deep dive, we should address some common questions that often come up. For instance, what about pregnant or breastfeeding women? Is noni safe for them?
That's a really good point. I imagine there were certain situations where caution is definitely needed, even with something natural like noni juice.
Exactly. And while noni itself isn't considered harmful, there simply isn't enough research to confirm its safety during pregnancy or breastfeeding. So the safest bet is to consult a doctor before adding it to your diet during those times.
That's sound advice. What about children? Can they also benefit from noni juice?
It appears to be safe for children, but as with any new food or supplement, it's always best to start with small doses and consult your pediatrician. You can also dilute the juice or mix it with other flavors to make it more appealing to their taste buds.
That makes perfect sense. It's always best to err on the side of caution, especially when it comes to kids.
Absolutely. And one last question that often comes up is how long it takes to see the benefits of noni juice.
Yeah, that's a question I'm sure a lot of people are wondering about. Is there a specific time frame, or does it vary from person to person?
Unfortunately, there's no one-size-fits-all answer. It really does vary from person to person. Some might notice changes within a few weeks, while others might take longer. The key is consistency.
So patience is key, as with most things related to health.
Exactly. It's not a quick fix, but rather a long-term approach to supporting your well-being.
Right. All right. Before we move on, I have one final and very important question to ask, and I'm sure you've heard this one before. Can Tahitian Noni Juice replace prescribed medications?
This is where we need to be absolutely clear. Noni is not a substitute for medicine. It's not a magical cure-all. If you have any medical concerns or are currently taking medication, always consult a healthcare professional. Noni can be a fantastic addition to a healthy lifestyle, but it should never replace proper medical care.
That's a crucial point to emphasize. It's so important to have those conversations with your doctor and make informed decisions about your health.
Right. It's all about taking a holistic approach to your well-being and understanding the role that natural products like noni can play.
Well said. I think we've covered a lot of ground in this first part of our deep dive. We've gone beyond just the basic facts and delved into like the specific mechanisms behind noni's potential benefits. It's definitely more than just a trendy juice. There's real substance behind it.
And we've only just begun to explore the world of Tahitian Noni Juice.
I'm ready to dive deeper. In part 2, we'll be taking a closer look at the scientific research behind those intriguing claims, exploring specific health concerns that noni might be able to address, and delving into the fascinating history and cultural significance of this remarkable fruit. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to our deep dive into Tahitian Noni Juice. Now that we've kind of laid the groundwork, let's examine the science behind these health claims. I know you're curious to see if the research actually backs up what we've been discussing.
Absolutely. I'm all about evidence-based information. So what does the research actually say about noni's potential benefits?
Well, the research on noni is still ongoing, but some studies have shown pretty promising results. For instance, a study that was published in the journal Food Science and Human Wellness found that regular consumption of Tahitian noni juice had a positive effect on cholesterol levels.
Okay, that's interesting. So it might be beneficial for heart health.
That's what the research suggests. Participants who drank the noni juice regularly, they showed a decrease in LDL cholesterol, the bad cholesterol that can build up in the arteries.
Okay, that's definitely a point in noni's favor. Anything else in the research that kind of caught your eye?
Yeah. Another study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology, this one looked at noni's effects on brain function, and the findings indicated that noni might have a role in improving cognitive performance and reducing stress levels.
That's intriguing. Brain power and stress relief, how does that work?
Well, researchers believe it has to do with noni's ability to increase serotonin production in the body. And serotonin, as you know, is a neurotransmitter that's crucial for mood regulation, sleep, and cognitive function.
So it's not just about physical health. Noni might support mental well-being too.
That's right. It's about taking a holistic view of health. Now, it is important to remember that more research is needed to fully understand the extent of noni's effects. But these initial findings certainly offer a glimpse into its potential.
They definitely add weight to those traditional claims about noni's healing properties. It's fascinating to see how modern science is backing up ancient wisdom.
I agree. It really highlights the value of both traditional knowledge and scientific inquiry. But let's shift gears a bit and talk about specific health concerns that noni might be able to address. You mentioned earlier that your aunt has been struggling with arthritis pain.
Yes, she's tried various things to manage the pain and inflammation, and I know that noni has those anti-inflammatory properties. So I'm wondering if it might offer her some relief.
Well, while noni is not a cure for arthritis, some studies suggest that it might help manage the symptoms. And those iridoids that we discussed earlier come into play here.
So by reducing inflammation, noni could potentially ease the joint pain and stiffness associated with arthritis.
Exactly. A study published in the Pacific Health Dialogue found that people with osteoarthritis who took noni juice regularly reported a decrease in pain levels. Of course, it's crucial for your aunt to discuss any potential new remedies with her doctor, before incorporating them into her treatment plan.
Absolutely. I'll definitely share this information with her and encourage her to talk to her doctor.
That's a good plan. It's always best to have those conversations with a healthcare professional. Now, arthritis isn't the only area where noni shows promise. There's also research suggesting that it might play a role in supporting cancer treatment.
Whoa, that's a pretty significant claim. What's the evidence there?
It's important to approach this topic with caution. Noni is not a cure for cancer, and it should never be considered a replacement for conventional treatments. However, some studies indicate that noni might possess anti-cancer properties that could potentially work in conjunction with traditional therapies.
So it's more about enhancing the effectiveness of existing treatments rather than replacing them.
Yes, precisely. For instance, a study published in the journal Cancer Letters found that noni extract inhibited the growth of certain cancer cells in a laboratory setting.
So there's some evidence at the cellular level, but more research is needed to see how these findings translate to human trials.
That's right. It's still early days, but the research is intriguing nonetheless.
Yeah. It seems like we keep uncovering more and more potential benefits with each study. Are there any other areas where noni is being explored?
There are. Have you heard about its potential to improve sleep quality?
Now that you mention it, I have read something about that.
Yeah.
Something about it promoting relaxation and deeper sleep.
You're on the right track. There's growing anecdotal evidence suggesting that noni might help regulate sleep patterns and improve overall sleep quality.
Is there a scientific explanation for that?
Well, remember how we talked about noni's ability to boost serotonin production? Well, serotonin also plays a role in regulating sleep cycles. So by increasing serotonin levels, noni might contribute to more balanced and restful sleep.
That makes sense. So it's like a domino effect. One benefit can lead to another.
Exactly. And that's not all. Noni is also believed to have adaptogenic properties, meaning it might help the body cope with stress more effectively.
Adaptogenic. That's a new one for me. What does that mean in practical terms?
It means that noni might be able to help your body adapt to various stressors, whether they're physical, emotional, or environmental.
So it's like having an internal buffer against stress.
You did say that. By supporting the body's natural stress response, noni might help reduce the negative impacts of stress on your overall health and well-being.
This is incredible. Noni just keeps getting more and more impressive. We've covered its history, nutritional content, the science behind its claims, and even its potential role in addressing specific concerns like arthritis, cancer, and sleep issues. It's clear that this fruit has a lot to offer.
And we've only just begun to explore the fascinating world of Tahitian Noni Juice.
I'm eager to hear what else we'll uncover in the final part of our deep dive.
We'll be delving into the cultural aspects of noni, its sustainability, and how to choose the right product for your needs. Stay tuned.
Welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into the world of Tahitian Noni Juice. We've covered the science behind its health benefits, and even touched upon its historical use in Polynesian medicine. But there's another layer I'd love to explore. The cultural significance of this fruit. You mentioned that it's not just a drink, it's woven into Polynesian culture. Can you tell me more about that?
Absolutely. In Polynesian culture, noni is deeply intertwined with daily life and traditions. It's been used for centuries, not only for its perceived health benefits, but also in spiritual practices, and even as a natural dye. It's really a testament to how ingrained noni is in their heritage.
That's amazing. It's more than just a fruit. It represents like a connection to their ancestors and the land. And speaking of the land, let's talk about sustainability. With the rising popularity of noni juice, It's crucial to ensure that its production doesn't harm the environment. What are the key factors to consider when evaluating the sustainability of Noni Juice brands?
That's a great point. Sustainability is vital. First and foremost, look for brands that prioritize organic farming practices. This means avoiding harmful pesticides and herbicides that can damage the delicate ecosystem where noni grows.
So organic certification is a good starting point.
It's a good indicator. But it's not the only factor. It's also essential to look for certifications like fair trade, which ensures fair wages and ethical treatment of farmers. And responsible land management practices are crucial to protect biodiversity and conserve natural resources.
It sounds like consumers need to do a little homework and look beyond just the label. Well, I think we've explored just about every aspect of Tahitian Noni Juice in this deep dive. From its history and nutritional profile to its potential health benefits, cultural significance, sustainability, it's been an incredibly informative journey.
It has been a fascinating exploration, hasn't it? We've peeled back the layers of this remarkable fruit and uncovered a wealth of knowledge.
Before we wrap up, is there a final thought or question you'd like to leave our listeners with as they continue their own exploration of Tahitian Noni Juice?
Here's something to ponder. If you were to incorporate Tahitian Noni Juice into your routine, what aspect of your well-being would you be most curious to observe changes in? Your energy levels, sleep quality, skin health, or something else entirely?
That's a fantastic question. It encourages our listeners to personalize their experience with Noni and pay attention to how it uniquely affects their own body and well-being.
Exactly. The journey with Noni is a personal one. And the best way to discover its potential is through mindful exploration and self-awareness.
That's a perfect note to end on. Thank you for joining me on this deep dive into the world of Tahitian Noni Juice. We hope you've enjoyed this exploration as much as we have.
And remember, keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep an open mind.
Until next time, stay curious and happy diving.
Thanks for tuning in to the Airogaya Wellness Podcast. Remember, small steps lead to big changes. If you're curious about the products we mentioned today, you can find them all at airogaya.com. That's AIROGYA.com. And hey, use the code AIROGYA15 at checkout for a 15% off discount. Please note that the code is not applicable for Europe, some parts of the Middle East, and South Africa. Until next time, keep taking those steps towards a healthier you.